The girl no one wanted. The transport station was always loud, always crowded, always filled with travelers rushing between worlds. But that morning, one corner of the station stayed strangely empty. People kept glancing in that direction, whispering, frowning, and then quickly walking away. A young human worker named Lien noticed the strange behavior as he carried supply crates down the platform. Humans were used to aliens by now, but avoiding someone completely, that was unusual. He turned his head, curiosity pulling him like gravity. There, sitting alone on a cold metal bench, was a small alien girl. She looked no older than 12 in human years. Her clothes were dirty, her hands were shaking, and her eyes stayed fixed on the ground. A thin tail curled around her legs, like she was trying to disappear. No one went near her. Not even other aliens. For a moment, Lien felt a sharp twist in his chest. Something was wrong, very wrong. He placed the crate down and walked closer. As he approached, he noticed how travelers changed direction to avoid even passing near the girl. Some looked scared. Others looked disgusted. One human whispered to his friend, loud enough for Lien to hear. "Don't go close. Her kind carries sickness." Another alien muttered. "She's one of the dirty ones. Keep your distance." Lien frowned at the phrase. Dirty ones? That sounded like a cruel nickname, not a real reason. He stepped forward anyway. The girl didn't look up. Her shoulders stayed tight, like she expected someone to shout at her. Lien crouched so he wouldn't tower over her. "Hey," he said softly. "You okay?" For a long moment, she didn't answer. Only her tail moved, slow, cautious, scared. Finally, her voice came out small and cracked. I shouldn't talk to humans. They say my kind is dangerous." Lien blinked. "Dangerous? You look more scared than dangerous." She flinched, as if expecting him to suddenly hit her. That reaction told Lien more than words ever could. "Did someone hurt you?" he asked. She shook her head quickly. "And no. But they don't want us near humans. They say we bring bad luck. They say we smell wrong. They say we ruin things." Her voice trembled, and she hugged her thin arms around herself. The way she spoke felt rehearsed, like she had repeated those painful lines many times. Lien understood now. She wasn't dirty. She was blamed. Blamed for things she could not control. "What's your name?" Lien asked gently. "Rin," she whispered. Simple. Soft. A name like a quiet breath. "Rin, are you waiting for someone?" Her eyes lowered even more. "No. They pushed me off the ship. They said I couldn't stay with the group. They said I only slow them down." Lien felt anger rise inside him, not at Rin, but at the people who treated her like trash. He looked around again. Travelers still avoided even looking at her. Not because she was dangerous, but because they believed a lie. A rumor that grew until it became a cage. Lien took a slow breath. "Rin," he said, "do you have anywhere to go?" She shook her head. "Any family here?" She shook her head again, slower this time, as if the motion itself hurt. Lien stood and held out his hand. "Come with me." Rin finally looked up. Her eyes were wide, bright, and scared, like she expected some trick. "But I'm one of the dirty ones," she whispered again, the words heavy and practiced. "You'll get in trouble." "Let me worry about that," Lien said. "You shouldn't be alone." She stared at his hand for a long time, as if it was something unreal, something she wasn't allowed to touch. Her small claws trembled. Her tail wrapped even tighter around her leg. "You're serious?" she asked. "Yeah," Lien replied. "No one deserves to be treated like this. Not you. Not anyone." Rin slowly reached out. Her hand hovered over his for a moment, as if she feared being hit for even trying. Then she placed her palm on his. It was warm. Fragile. A little rough from travel. Lien tightened his grip lightly. Let's get you cleaned up. And fed. And safe. As they walked through the station, people stared. Some whispered. Some stepped back. Others scowled. Rin's tail twitched nervously each time someone flinched away from her. But Lien didn't stop. He kept her close, his posture firm, telling everyone with his presence that she was under his protection. A few angry aliens muttered things as he passed. You're bringing trouble home, human. You don't understand what she is. You'll regret this. But Lien ignored all of them. He didn't know why everyone feared her kind. He didn't know what rumors followed her. He didn't know the danger waiting beyond the station. All he knew was very simple. A scared girl needed help. And he would not leave her behind. Not today. Not ever. The rumor that followed her. Lien led Rin out of the transport station and into the open city dome. Tall glass towers curved toward the sky, streets moved with both humans and aliens, and floating drones hummed overhead. It should have felt welcoming, but Rin stayed close behind him, almost hiding in his shadow. Every loud noise made her jump. Every passing alien made her flinch. Every glance filled her eyes with fear. Lien slowed his steps. You're safe with me, he said calmly. Rin nodded, but her tail stayed wrapped tightly around her leg. As they walked toward Lien's small apartment, a patrol drone hovered low, scanning the crowd. When it reached Rin, its sensors flickered yellow. Rin froze. The drone spoke in a cold mechanical voice, unregistered individual detected. Species, unknown subgroup. Caution recommended. People around them stopped and stared. A few stepped away. Someone whispered, see. Even the drone warns us. Rin lowered her head, shaking slightly. Lien stood firm. She's with me. I'll register her. The drone beeped, recorded his statement, and flew away. When it left, Rin let out a breath she had been holding. They always do that, she whispered. They scan us longer than others. They expect trouble. That doesn't mean you're trouble, Lien replied. Rin didn't answer. She only followed quietly. Inside the apartment. Lien's place was small, just one main room, a tiny kitchen, and a narrow sleeping area. But it was clean, warm, and peaceful. Rin stepped inside slowly, as if afraid she would dirty the floor simply by walking on it. You can sit, Lien said, nodding toward the couch. Rin shook her head. I might leave marks. My clothes are dirty. That's okay. Furniture can be cleaned. She still hesitated, so Lien walked over and patted the couch. See? It's fine. Rin finally sat down, carefully, like she didn't deserve comfort. Lien brought her a glass of water. She held it with both hands and drank small sips, like she wasn't used to having something of her own. What happened to your group? He asked gently. Rin looked at the floor. My people travel in clusters. We work in low jobs, cleaning ships, fixing vents, collecting scrap. Others don't like being near us, so we usually stay together. Lien nodded. And today? Her voice became even softer. The supervisor said someone had stolen supplies from the cargo. They blamed me. I didn't do it. But no one defended me. They said having me nearby invites bad luck. So they told me to leave the ship. She hugged her knees. They threw my bag at me and closed the doors. Lien felt anger rising again. They just abandoned you. Yes. They said I'm a burden. Lien clenched his jaw. They're wrong. Rin didn't lift her head, but a small sound escaped her, half relief, half doubt. A strange mark. While she drank, her sleeve slipped down, revealing a faint glowing mark on her arm, thin lines like branching roots. Lien noticed it immediately. Rin noticed his gaze and quickly pulled the sleeve back up, panic in her eyes. "It's nothing," she whispered. "That didn't look like nothing. Please don't ask." Lien didn't push further. But the mark stayed in his mind. Something unique. Something important. Something others might fear, or misunderstand. The visit. As evening fell, someone knocked on the door. Rin stiffened instantly, eyes wide, body trembling. "Please, don't open it," she whispered. "It's probably a neighbor," Lien said, walking to the door. When he opened it, 2 alien workers stood outside. He recognized them from the station, big, thick-skinned, horned individuals who usually work security. One of them glared past Lien at Rin. "You took the girl?" he asked. Lien kept his voice steady. "I gave her shelter." The second alien snorted. "Bad choice, human. Humans don't know what she is. Her kind is cursed." Lien crossed his arms. "Cursed doesn't exist." "It does," the first alien said firmly. "They carry a mark. A sign that brings danger. Her group should have sent her away long ago." Rin hid behind the couch, shaking. Lien stepped forward. "She's a child. She needs help, not hatred." The alien leaned closer. "Help her if you want. But don't say we didn't warn you. Trouble follows her kind. Always has." With that, they turned and walked down the hallway, leaving the air heavy with threats. Lien closed the door slowly. Rin peeked out. "They're right," she whispered. "I should go. If I stay, you'll get in trouble. Maybe worse." "No," Lien said. "You're not leaving. Not tonight. Not alone. But they think I bring danger. I don't care what they think." Rin swallowed hard. "You don't know what will happen. Then I'll face it when it comes." Her eyes glistened, hope fighting fear. The night warning. Later that night, after Rin finally fell asleep on the couch, Lien stepped onto the balcony for fresh air. As he looked across the city, he saw something unusual. Patrol ships. Too many for a normal evening. They formed a slow pattern, scanning the district. Searching for someone. Searching for something. A quiet voice came from behind him. Rin stood in the doorway, her sleeve slipped again, the glowing mark brighter than before. "They're looking for me," she whispered. Lien's heart tightened. "Why?" Rin stepped back into the shadows. "Because the mark on my arm isn't a curse," she said. "It's a signal. And someone very dangerous wants it back." The truth behind the mark. Rin stepped back from the balcony doorway, her glowing mark faint but visible under the dim lights. Lien moved closer, alarm rising in his chest. "Rin," he said quietly, "tell me what that mark means." She hugged her arms tightly, the way frightened children do. "My people don't talk about it. We hide it. We pretend it's not there. Because if others see it, they fear us." "But why?" Rin took a shaky breath. "Because long ago, someone decided it meant danger. They said the marked ones bring ruin. They said we attract accidents, sickness, fights. People began to avoid us. Some places even banned us." Lien frowned. "So the mark is just a superstition?" Rin shook her head. "No. The mark is real. But the meaning is wrong." The city lights outside flickered against her eyes, full of pain she carried for too long. "My people were once connected to something old," she whispered. "Something powerful. The mark is a sign that our bodies can sense energy waves, signals, before others can. We can detect danger, storms, strange radio pulses. But long ago, a colony leader lied. He said the mark was a curse because he feared us. And people believed him? Lien asked. Yes. And the lie spread through generations. Lien felt anger twist inside him, but now it wasn't for the workers at the station. It was for a whole history of fear, twisted into cruelty toward a child who did nothing wrong. Rin stepped closer. But now, someone wants the marked ones again. A group. A dangerous group. They steal children like me. They force us to track things for them. Lien stiffened. Who? Rin swallowed hard. People call them the collectors. The name alone carried weight, even without details. They find a marked child, she continued, then they use machines to push our senses until we can hardly breathe. They use us to search for hidden relics, old signals, things buried deep in planets. Lien felt a cold chill. And your group abandoned you instead of protecting you? Rin nodded. They were scared. They didn't want the collectors to come near their ship. People avoid us because they fear being taken too. Suddenly everything made perfect sense, the whispers, the rumors, the fear, the way even aliens stepped far away from her. It wasn't that Rin was dirty. It was that she was hunted. The shattered window. A sharp crack echoed in the apartment. Lien spun around. One of the windows had a thin fracture spreading across the glass, perfectly circular, like something hit it from outside. He pulled Rin away from the balcony. That wasn't the wind, he said. A small metal sphere hovered outside, its red light scanning the room. It was smaller than a fist, but its design was sharp, precise, and predatory. A collector drone. Rin gasped. They found me. The drone's lens widened, locking onto her glowing mark through the thin fabric of her sleeve. Lien grabbed her hand. We're moving. Now. They rushed through the apartment, grabbing coats and stuffing essentials into a bag. Rin trembled so hard she could barely walk straight. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't want you to get pulled into this. Lien squeezed her hand. Helping you is not something I regret. Another sharp noise tore through the air, this time the window fully cracked, shards beginning to fall. They had seconds. Running through the city. Lien pulled Rin into the hallway and slammed the door behind them. They rushed down the stairs and out into the night, blending into a stream of people on the lower city walkway. But drones buzzed above, scanning the crowds. Every time a red beam passed over them, Rin ducked, terrified. Lien kept her close, shielding her with his body. We'll lose them, he said firmly. Just trust me. Rin nodded, though her breaths came fast. They ran through narrow alleys, down metal staircases, through markets shutting down for the night. But the drones were relentless, each wrong turn brought them closer again. Finally, they reached an old cargo port near the edge of the district. Rin grabbed Lien's sleeve. Wait. He looked back. Rin's mark glowed brighter now, pulsing softly. I can sense a wave, she whispered. Something strong, coming this way. Not the collectors. Something else. Lien stared at her. You mean you can detect them before the drones see them? Rin nodded slowly. That's why they want us. Then her eyes widened in fear. They're close. Face to face. A tall figure stepped out from behind a cargo loader. He wore dark armor, smooth and silent, with a helm shaped like a sharp teardrop. His voice came out calm, practiced, cold. Return the girl, he said. She belongs to us. Lien stepped in front of Rin instantly. She belongs to no one. She carries the mark. She is valuable. The armored figure lifted a scanning device. Move aside. Lien didn't move. The stranger tilted his head. You are human. Your kind tends to protect the weak, even when it makes no sense. Somebody has to, Lien said. The figure sighed as if disappointed. Then you will suffer for her. He took one step forward. Rin grabbed Lien's arm. We can't fight him. Lien whispered, we don't fight. We escape. How? He looked toward the old cargo shuttle being loaded for takeoff. That's how. The leap. They sprinted. The armored collector shouted and lunged after them. A drone fired a stun bolt, which exploded against a crate inches from Lien's shoulder. Workers yelled. Alarms went off. Lien and Rin reached the edge of the loading ramp. The shuttle engines were powering up. Jump! Lien shouted. Rin hesitated only a second, then leaped with him onto the rising platform. The shuttle doors slammed shut behind them just as the collector reached the ramp. The shuttle lifted. Rin looked at Lien with wide, terrified eyes. Where are we going? Lien caught his breath. Away from here. Somewhere far. Somewhere they can't find you. Rin's tail slowly uncurled. Her voice trembled with something new, hope. You saved me. Lien shook his head. No. I just did what any human should do. Rin smiled for the first time. Humans, she whispered, are different. Lien looked out the window as the city shrank behind them and the stars opened ahead. Yeah, he said softly. We are.